got money on my mind, I can never give it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Do is win, win, win. All right. All right. I only got like 20 minutes, so we got to calm it down over there. I miss you guys. How you guys been? It's been a long time since I've been here. Very good. Well, real quick, before I get into my training, because we have a lot of information in a short period of time, I just want to give it back to all the trainers who trained yesterday and today. I think these last 24 hours have been a phenomenal lineup with the best of the best, and not just in ACM, but in the entire industry. Can we all agree on that? Yes or yes? So let's give up to all the trainers yesterday and today. So let's jump right into this. So really quick, I want to get an idea of what positions we have here in the room today. Who here are the senior vice president? Where are the SVPs at? SVPs? Stand up if you're an SVPs. Where are the SVPs at? Stand up. Why aren't the rest of you guys standing? Why aren't the rest of you guys standing? Where are my SVPs at? All right, well, here's the bottom line, guys. My training today is called Beast Mode because it's time to stop settling for where you're at and time to kick it into high gear and create a breakthrough in your business. If you're ready for a breakthrough, say, I am ready. So we're going to jump right into this really quick. First and foremost, when it comes to mindset, you have to understand the 10 core commitments. The first thing is you got to have a burning desire to win. A burning desire to win here at ACN. A burning desire to make it happen no matter what it takes. Because trust me when I tell you, it's all about the desire because that's what's going to push you through all the obstacles, all the challenges. So you got to be hungry. By a show of hands, who in this room is hungry? And I don't mean physically hungry, I mean hungry, right? The second thing, you guys got to be committed. Committed to the end game. Committed to what it is you're doing. See, I know there's some people in this room right now that aren't sold out to the opportunity as of yet. You're still questioning, not sure whether or not this is the right thing. You got to shut the door on the questioning, shut the door on the doubt, and make your mind up and plant your flag today that ACN is it and you're going straight to the top. You got to have a vision. You got to see the end. You got to be clear about where you're going. Because here's the bottom line. In this business, it's not just about you. It's about you and the people who choose to follow you. So you got to have a vision that's worth pursuing, not just for yourself, but for your organization. How big is your vision? One of my mentors always says, if you don't have a reason to earn $100,000 per month, you never will. So you got to create that vision, expand on that vision, multiply that vision. You got to have and eliminate all excuses. No excuses. I know there's some people in this room right now that are like, well, I'm too busy. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too black. I'm too white. I'm too Asian. And that's why you're not successful. Get rid of the excuses because excuses will keep you broke. We call that excusitis. Next, you got to have a work ethic. Work ethic. What does that mean? I know some people think they're doing ACN when they show up to a BOM or a Saturday training. They think they're doing ACN when they log into their back office and watch the latest video of one of the senior vice presidents. That's not work in ACN. See, in ACN, we get paid to do two things. Number one, get customers, and number two, get IBOs who do what? Get customers. If we're not getting customers and we're not getting IBOs, we're not working. We're active, but we're not productive. It's kind of like the people who go to the gym. They go to the gym all day, every day, right? And they're still fat. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? So you can go to the gym all day, but if you're busy text messaging, socializing, we can agree you're there, but you're not present. You're not active. You're not doing what you need to do. Does that make sense so far? And so it's not about how much time you're putting into the business. It's about quality of time. Next, time management. See, understand that this business does not require 40 hours a week. See, we understand that this is a part-time game initially. See, if you're effective with your time, you'll be able to grow your business, exponentially. I've seen people who only have 5 hours a week to do ACN, and in those 5 hours, they're going out there and breaking records in this company, making thousands of dollars, hitting team coordinator extremely fast. And I also know people who have all the time in the world, and guess what? They're stuck where they're at. So you got to learn how to manage your time. ACN skills, very important. Some of the skills that you got to master in this game is how to present, how to launch, how to get a customer, how to enroll new IBOs. You also got to learn and develop leadership skills because we, guys, are in the people business. Some of us think that we're telecom specialists, but we're not. You think you're energy brokers, but here's the reality. ACN is in the telecom business. ACN is in the energy business, and you guys are in the what? People business. So you got to learn and develop leadership skills. Next thing is you got to make sure you're persistent. Now this is the key. Persistent. You got to have a push mentality. What's push? Persist until something happens. Persist until something happens. Now, some of you guys are like, I'm in the game when I'm fired up. You know, I get the warm fuzzies, the butterflies in my stomach. I'm inspired. I'm going to go talk to people. And then what happens? You know, you get a no. You experience some negativity. And then you lose your motivation. And then you stop talking to people. Here's what you got to do. You got to keep pushing. When people tell you no, keep pushing. You talk to 100 people, they all say no. What do? Keep pushing. When you don't feel like talking to any other people, when you don't feel like going to the next meeting, you don't feel like doing anything else, what must you do right there and then? Keep pushing, because that is when the power will come, and that's when you're going to get all the results. It's all about persistence. Next thing is you must attend all events, locally, regionally, and internationally, because that's how you're going to create a momentum. That's how you're going to grow and duplicate your organization. You alone can't do it all. If it wasn't for these national conventions, if it wasn't for the local events, our team in South Florida would be basically, just a handful of people. But because many of them caught the vision, many of them were able to experience what you're experiencing here today, it's really created a shift in your thinking of possibility. How many of you guys want a team of 100, 200, 1,000 or more people who are feeling the same exact way that you're feeling right now? Well, let me explain something. That's not going to happen through a text message or playing the little Experience the Events DVD. It's not going to happen that way. The only way that'll happen is if you're at every event, and more importantly, you're promoting every event. Does that make sense so far? Now, the next thing, when it comes to talking to people, see, I know that a lot of people's mindset's affected by prospects. And so what you got to understand, first and foremost, going to every conversation about this business, you have the greatest opportunity on the planet. You're going to run into people who have a job, people who go to school, people who have their own business. And I think these things are all great, but we can agree it's nothing in comparison to what we have with ACN. I know people who say, I have a good job with benefits. Right. We can agree you'll never get wealthy at a job. 95% of all people by age 65 are what? Dead or dead broke. Right? People who go to college, I think college is great. I remember a good friend of mine said, ACN's not going to work. These things, it's just all about hype, and don't believe the hype, and blah, 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 blah. And so, here's what ended up happening. This is when I first got involved. I decided to pursue ACN, give it all I got, and make it happen. He went the school route, which is cool. Got his education, but then he was then overqualified for every job he was going after. And so at the end of the day, he ended up settling for some job outside of his career choice, making 30, 40 grand a year. Now, I remember how adamant he was. He's like, don't do ACN, it's a scam. It's a scam, $500 scam. Now, looking back, 8 years later, he invested 50 grand in his education, couldn't find a job for 3, 4, 5 years, still lives at home with his parents at age 27. Who got scammed? Right? Now, next. When it comes to your mindset, you have to understand something here. A lot of us here question whether or not we're going to be successful, whether or not we're going to make this work. You got to understand that the end has already been determined. Your end has already been determined. All you got to do is kind of like a GPS system. If you follow the route, you'll get to where you want to go, yes or no? And if you get lost, what does a GPS do? It recalculates. And so right now, what you got to understand, when it comes to winning in this business and in life, you got to get clear about the destination, clear about where you're going. We call that your why in this business. You got to make it specific. You got to have focus. You got to understand that it's going to be your why that will drive you through every obstacles. And so bottom line, guys, you want to make sure you put it on paper, so that way you're detailing it, every single, everything that you want out of life. You want to make sure you create a vision board, because if you can visually see it, it'll make all the difference in the world for you when it comes to achieving your goals. Now, next thing. By the way, this is where I live. Thank God, I appreciate ACN. Now, let me give you an example. If you guys have read the book Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, then you'll know this example, okay? Let's imagine right here at the convention center, there was a steel plank about 100 feet long, and I was going to pay you $20 to walk that plank back and forth. How many of you do it, no questions asked? For sure, no risk involved, easy. Do it in your sleep, put a blindfold on, moonwalk across the plank, right? But let's imagine I took that same plank and put it between the two buildings, Jade Ocean and Jade Beach. One of them was on fire. How many of you guys would now take on that challenge? 4 of us. There's always 4 crazy people for every 100, right? So check this out. What if I gave you $5 grand to go ahead and walk that plank, put your life on the line? See, some of you guys would have excuses. Oh, wait a minute, I don't do crazy things on Saturday like that. Oh no, I gotta go get coffee first. I gotta think about it. I gotta figure it out, plan it out. We'll come up with excuses for why we can't do it. And so some of you guys, when I ask you what your why is, you'll say, oh, it's to make money. But what you gotta understand, money's not the motive. Money's not gonna get you out of your comfort zone to do whatever it takes and push. So let's change it up a little bit. What if it was your firstborn child that was in the burning building, and the only way we could save that child is if you stopped making excuses, got on that plank and walked across it to save your child and walked back? How many of you would then cross that plank into the burning building to save your child? How many of you guys would do it? Your why has to be that powerful. Will it move you past all excuses? And so there's your child right there. Now, some of you guys didn't raise your hands. Now I know why, because your kid looks like that, right? But that's another story for another time. So the bottom line, guys, if you want to win, if you want to be successful, we got to get out of our comfort zone. Now, next thing in this business, you're going to go through a learning curve. Now, some of us it may take 6 months. It might take a year. It might take 2 years. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to master the game. All that matters is eventually you'll what? Master the game. And so there's basically 4 phases that we find in the learning curve. The first phase we call step 1 is no money stage, where you're working real hard, you're doing your PBRs, you're talking to people, and you're making no money. In fact, all your friends are like, ha, I told you that would never work, ha, 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 ha. And you're like, man, maybe they're right, maybe this is not gonna work. Some people actually quit because of that. But then the others who get it continue planting the seeds, continue showing up, doing what they need to do. And then they get to step 2, and they start making some money. They get their first check, $97, because they take the 3 off the 100, right? And they're like, wow, look at that. And then, of course, your friend or spouse is like, huh, that's it, $97? Oh, we can go celebrate at Wendy's. And some people get discouraged, working hard for little money. The third phase is you hit team coordinator, become President's Club member. You're working hard, and you're making good money, 10 grand a month, 15 grand a month. Can we agree that's pretty good money, right? But here's the thing. A lot of your people who see, what about the residual? There's no residual in this company. You're going to have to work like that for the rest of your life. And a lot of people get discouraged, like, oh, maybe it's not worth the time investment. Maybe there really is no residual income. So some people do what? They quit. The fourth and final phase, understand. See, first phase is you work hard, no money. Step 2, you work hard for some money. Step 3, work hard for a lot of money. But step 4, no work, and you're smashed by cash all day. Does that make sense? Balling out of control, making money. You don't even know where it's coming from, but you're like, yeah, I love ACN. But here's the bottom line. Most of you guys quit before you ever get there because you're busy listening to all the people around you. Now, here's the bottom line. When it comes to being on fire, can you guys tell I'm a little on fire? I'm on fire because I have to fit this whole training in 25 minutes. But here's the other reason why I'm on fire. I'll tell you what, when I was not producing, it's because other areas of my life were out of balance. Understand, success is not just success in the financial arena. It's in your health. It's in your relationships. Can we agree success is a balance of all areas of your life, yes or no? And so a couple things I want you guys to think about. What's your diet like? Some of us right now eat foods that are not conducive to producing energy, so therefore you're always tired, always lagging. And if you're tired, are you going to feel like talking to people? If you're tired, when you're around people, are you going to be inspiring to those people? Of course not. So think about your diet, because it has a lot to do with your energy level. Go on beast mode. Next thing is, what's your sleep like? Some of us don't sleep enough. Some of us sleep too much. There's a study that was done. If you sleep too much or don't sleep enough, you die early. So if you don't want to die early, start sleeping 7 hours a night. Does that make sense? Sleep has a lot to do with your energy level. Next is exercise. Exercise, getting the blood pumping through your body, tapping into, that adrenaline that can get you going through the day. Now, some of you guys think you're exercising because you wear those Skechers shoes with the little curve thing at the bottom. You're like, yeah, I'm working out. I broke a sweat. That's not exercise. You want to obviously participate maybe at a gym or do some type of activity that's going to get you to start breaking the sweat. Because I guarantee you start implementing these things, and I'll tell you from personal experience, I was 220 pounds about 2-3 years ago. My nickname was KFP, Kung Fu Panda, right? But look, Kung Fu Panda right there with the red tie. Yes. And so once I made a change, understanding my entire business began to explode. And it's not because I looked better, but it's because I felt better. And if you feel good, you do good. Does that make sense? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Some of you guys are so busy watching the Jersey Shore. I love that show, but here's the point. You got to control what you let into your mind, because that will have an impact on how you produce and how, your energy level and your excitement level and how you come across to other people. See, everything connects and affects everything else in your life. Your ability to communicate, your ability to connect. And so if you want to start being a high performer, you need to start getting all these areas in your life in balance. Start working on it little by little, and over time, you'll get what we call in the red zone, and once you're in the red zone, you're unstoppable. Does that make sense, guys? Very good. Now, the next thing, Facebook, that's really why I'm here. That's what I'm here to talk about, social media. How many of us here believe that Facebook is a powerful tool? Anybody here in the room has already utilized some of these things? Now, here's the thing, what I see for most people that use Facebook. They're using it, but they're using it in the wrong way. And so, it's kind of funny because I'll see some people's profile pages, and before I even look at their profile, just by their picture alone, I'm like, ignore. They send a friend request. I'm not gonna even waste my time adding them as a friend just because their profile picture is like, the guy's like this with no shirt. Like, what do I wanna do with that, right? And so here's the bottom line. Your Facebook page represents your brand. And so what are you speaking to? What are you saying about yourself to the internet world? And so it's like a billboard. And so you gotta start thinking in terms of business. You gotta start thinking in terms of your image and the brand you wanna represent. And so you wanna create a page that's designed to generate new prospects. You want people asking you questions. You want people interested in what you got going on in your life. You're gonna be able to utilize some of the tools that they have, like check-ins, be able to, you like certain people's comments, your status updates, tagging people. These are things that you're gonna be able to use to connect, not recruit, but connect and start conversations. And of course, we use Facebook. I don't know if you guys have seen this already on our Facebook page, but we use it to promote events. It's a powerful tool. And I know a lot of us here today are kind of like afraid of going on the computer and using the internet, but you got to get past that fear. See, a lot of people reject what they don't understand, but I promise you, once you understand it and take the time to understand it, it'll make you a fortune in this business. So real quick, here's what a Facebook page should look like. And I'm not just saying it because it's mine. Yes, I am. Anyhow, you want the about section filled out completely, but here's what you want to do. Avoid profanity, improper references. You want to kind of avoid conversations about religion and the S word and, all these other things because you want to create a neutral page. You want people coming to your page, when they visit your page, to be like, oh, okay, this is somebody I can relate with. But the minute you say something that's too radical, then automatically you're going to lose people. Does that make sense so far? It's a business tool, okay? We always say be all things to all people. Be like a chameleon. You want to avoid offending your audience. Now, I'm pretty bad at that. I do that all the time, and I'm working on that, right? But I'll tell you what, on Facebook, you want to avoid certain things and references because that will turn a lot of people off. See, you want people, it's like a restaurant. If you go to a good restaurant and people enjoy the service and the food, are they going to come back, yes or no? Of course, there's value there. But if it's a restaurant with horrible service, horrible food, they're never going to come back, and they're going to tell other people about it. So your Facebook page is the same exact thing. If they find good value at your Facebook page, they're going to want to come back and visit and see what it is that you have going on in your life. Now, real quick, Facebook is also a powerful tool to create a community with your organization. See, that's one thing we really use to tie our organization and create such a tight bond. As you can see over here, people are like, well, how do you do it? How's Aaron Burt, with the green hair, how do these guys do it? How does James Adam go out there and create a revolution? Well, you know what? Everyone wants to be a part of something. Can we agree on that? And so Facebook for us is a meeting ground for all our people. They can go onto our Facebook page and be able to join the group that we have, and they can take on the group conversation. Right now, the conversation is all about Charlotte National Convention, so everyone's talking about their experiences. The next thing is the recognition portion. Last night we had a huge rally, a bunch of TCs and RDs got promoted, so we posted that on the page. Creates excitement, creates that buzz. We promote events. We use pictures and videos all the time. Little things like that. Again, this creates value. Here's an example, Mike Rafferty. Here's a status update that created a lot of interest for our business. This guy right here, 20-year-old Mike Rafferty picking up his brand new BMW. He didn't have to sell shakes or lease this. Congrats, man, on your success. Right? Okay? Anyhow, some of you will get that, what that means, okay? But here's the point. That right there is a conversation piece. That probably recruited a good 5, 10, 15 people within a 24-hour window because all his friends who didn't join and all the other people in our group who posted the same picture had their friends who hated too. Now they see this, they see the opportunity, they see what this young guy is doing, and they're like, wow, what is this all about? And it creates a conversation. Does that make sense? Next thing, our events. We always take pictures of our events. That's Mr. Aaron Burt right there at our last regional who absolutely killed it. So we always post pictures of our events, and then all the people on our friends list are like, wow, what's going on at the Hard Rock? Again, creating a buzz, people asking questions. That's my view from my bedroom. Morning view, waking up doesn't have to be a bad thing. So obviously people who are waking up to an alarm clock is a bad thing. So they see this like, well, I want to wake up to a view like that. Boom, conversation piece. Here's one of my favorites. We recruited the gentleman, Mr. Plaxico Burris. I'm not really a sports guy, but yeah, he's a big deal, right? Okay. Anyhow, he got into the business, and so we posted a picture, and what did that do? Brought a lot of credibility to the table, but it also brought a lot of negative attention as well. In fact, here's what we did. Look at this guy here, Greg. How much did he get paid to join? Because I know he didn't pay the $500 to get in. Nobody going for that marketing hustle. Now, some of you guys would get all offended, be like, what? And start talking about Greg's mama and start, ranking on him and saying all these things. But you don't want to do that. You want to be bigger than that. So I just spinned it, and here's what I said. He didn't pay $500, he paid $499. So what you got to understand, when people are negative, it's usually for one of two reasons. Number one, either they're misinformed, and that's okay, it means they're ignorant, right? Or number two, they're just hating on what you got going on. And that's okay, because I've learned that if people aren't hating on you, that means you're not doing anything worth paying attention to. Does that make sense? Embrace the haters, trust me. From there, we have more pictures like this of the cars and the lifestyle. Here's how we promote events. That's us doing a power hour. That's my actual sponsor in ACN, Sergio. I posted that, got like 270 likes, and it created a massive buzz. I didn't renew, so he just recently got back in. He's actually right there. Wave your hand, Sergio. In fact, I called him, let me tell you, I called him to thank him for introducing me to ACN. But really, I called him and said, I just want to thank you. I'm in this magazine called Success from Home. Is it okay if I come by and show it to you? And I showed it to him, and I said, hey, here's my organization. Here's what I built in 8 years. It's all because of you. But since you didn't renew, here's how much money you've missed out on. Sergio's like, oh! But thank God, there's second chances, right? So now he decided to get back in, and now he's blowing it up, and he's on fire. He is not taking any excuses. I mean, he's going to go out there and blow this thing up and do it the right way this time around. So let's give it up to Sergio, man. We're excited about you. And by the way we got in communication was through Facebook. He saw what I had been doing for all these years, reached out to me a year ago, says, I want to get more information on ACN. I want to get back in the game. I'm telling you, Facebook is so powerful. It allows you to connect to people. Here's a true example right over here of my best friend when I was like 3. Hadn't seen her since I was 10. Hadn't spoken to her since I was 10. She's my friend on Facebook. Here's what she said. I know you guys can't see this, but I'll read it out loud. It says, hey, Max, I just wanted to say congrats on all your success. I see you and your sister doing really, really well, right? And I'm like, got her. And I said, what's up? Are you still in Miami? She's like, yeah. I said, great. Well, thanks so much. I had a question for you. Are you interested in making extra money part-time? She says, yes, of course. I said, okay, great. What are you doing tomorrow, 7:45? You tell me, where am I going? So what did I do? Even though I hadn't spoken to her in years, more than a decade, my Facebook profile was equipped where it did all the recruiting for me. Does that make sense? We call it a lifestyle page. Here's another thing we teach our team. Put posts, status, we call it peak post, right? And so this gentleman in my group, Mr. Pascal, here's what he said. I'm looking for one sharp person who wants to make $1K for September, part-time on the side. Deadline's Tuesday. Message me for info. So what did that do? Obviously, people started to question, well, what's it all about? What do I got to do? Where do I sign? Wow, what's this about? Again, creates conversation. Little things like that can really begin to start generating interest, which will allow you to turn these individuals from just friends on your page to actual recruits. And so we're going to recruit through connecting. Does that make sense so far? In fact, while you're here right now, what we want you to do is if you could log into your Facebook account, take out your phone. Who has a phone? Take out your phone. Take out your phone. Stop looking at me and take out your phone. Be coachable. Log into your Facebook account, and we want you to post something right now. In fact, before you do that, go to the ACN page, ACN Inc., right, the fan page, and we want you to like their page. And if you guys could, we also want you to post something about your experience here right now as you're in your status update. So go ahead and do that, because here's the bottom line. We want to make sure that we got a buzz going on, because the more people sharing in the same conversation, the more people we're going to see the conversation. Does that make sense so far? And so we also have Twitter. Twitter's a powerful tool. And so what you also want to do is make sure you're following ACN at ACN News so you can get all the updates and all the announcements of what's happening. If you use the hashtag ACN, you'll be able to see everything that's going on, every conversation happening regarding ACN, and you can participate in this conversation. You can use Twitter. I see Mr. Lawyer Malloy twittering all the time, this past week since he got here, about what's going on in ACN and all that stuff. And so what you want to tweet about is obviously insights, stay in touch. Again, creating value so people come back. The other thing, guys, is we have a new tool, a new resource on the back office which will allow you to start learning these things, to be able to learn more about Facebook and how you can use it as a powerful tool. So again, it's all about just getting informed and just learning it and going through the process. But I promise you, once you master the process, it's going to be an added tool. Whenever I want to go into phase 1, recruit mode, and start a brand new group or create some type of momentum, the first place I'm going to go ahead and look is my friends list. I'm always adding value. All I got to do is just message a few people, and before you know it, a few conversations begins to become a few presentations. And from those presentations, then we begin to tap root and create massive momentum. So ladies and gentlemen, you need to start utilizing this as a tool because it will allow you to absolutely expand your warm market, allow you to expand your business, and go out there and create massive momentum. So really quick, we want to make sure we go for 90,000 likes on Facebook. Right now, we're around 75 or 76,000 likes so far. So if we can push it to 90,000, that gives us more of a presence online. More people will see what's going on, and that will create a massive, massive buzz for ACN. So can we commit to doing that, yes or no? So guys, in conclusion, I can't believe I did that in 20 minutes. Wow. Feel bad for all the Canadians who don't speak English, right? So guys, I just want to wrap up with one last thing. We're so excited right now with ACN. I'm truly humbled to be a part of this company, a part of the circle. And I just want to let you guys know, every single one of you, it doesn't matter where you're at right now in the business. Some of you guys are on fire, killing it, like Mark Isaac, who hit SVP in a day. You know what I mean? It's crazy what's going on over there, right? It's insanity, right? But here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter where you're at right now in your business. It doesn't matter, because all that really matters is where you're going. See, if you already know the end has been predetermined, which is senior vice president, that is already a done deal. We just got to get the paperwork out of the way. If you already know it's a done deal, we don't need to sit here and question ourselves anymore. We don't need to question when a prospect says no or when a representative quits. See, it's kind of like you have to have the mindset of a Scud missile that already has an expected end, and no weapon formed against it will prosper. See, if you understand that your end has already been determined, see, no one can pull you from the destiny. They can only push you towards your destiny, because it's all part of the equation. And so understand that all you got to do is make a decision today to do more than you have. Right now is a brand new beginning. Hit the reset button, and I guarantee you, going into San Jose, these next 60 or 75 days, I don't really know how many days, I'm bad at math, even though I'm Asian, but whatever. I guarantee you do what you have to do, you apply what you learned here this weekend, and going into San Jose, you'll have a completely new business transformed and ready to blow this thing up, and 2013 will be by far the greatest year of your life. Done.